Okay, hey there everyone. Welcome back to another live video. Today we are going to be looking at IGCSE ICT. So IGCSE subject code 0417. And today we are going to be looking at Excel theory questions. Okay, most of the time we focus on paper 2, paper 3, the practicals for Excel, but we often forget paper 1. And paper one question for Excel in particular are very important. So without any further ado, let's get started. So we have the first question. We are going to read it and then we'll answer it. Okay. So it says, Khalid keeps a spreadsheet to record his expenses and to plan for future spending. So to record his expenses and plan for future spending. Okay. Now, this spreadsheet is split into two separate sheets, which has one named plan and the other named model. Okay. Plan contains the details of his future spending and model contains a model of his income and expenses. So we have his plan here and we have his model here. Okay, let's look at the question. It says Khalid entered a formula in C4 of the model sheet. So model, so in C4, this is C4. Then the formula is B4 plus B4 times plan dollar, exclamation mark dollar B13. Explain in detail what the formula does. Include in your answer an explanation of why the dollar and exclamation symbols are used in the formula. So let's look at what it did. So it did B4 plus B4 times plan B3 in the plan. So we have B4. So let's change the color. So it took B4 plus B4 times where is it? B3, I think. B13, okay. B13 of the plan. So what it did was it took this 63784 and it multiplied 63784 times 2.5 and it added this. Okay, so so we have this to be the original value for 2020. So after it multiplied it by its income growth, it then became 65379. So it's basically showing the income growth in 1 year. So we can say this that, so we know that this was the formula that they were given, that we got, right? So then we say that it calculates the 2021 income in the model sheet, okay, by increasing the 2020 income by 2.5%, which is taken from the income growth cell in the plan sheet. So as we said, it calculates the 2021 income. So I'm going to enter the formula over here, right, in cell C4. So that's why it's calculating the 2021 income by what? By increasing this 2020 income by 2.5%, which is taken from the plan sheet. That's all it's saying. Now, this will, since it's 5 marks, this should give you around, let me change the color. This should give you around 3 marks. So what are the extra 2 marks for? They said explain what the dollar and exclamation symbols are used for. Now, the dollar, the exclamation symbol, it shows that the data is taken from a different worksheet, okay? And as for the dollar, it's needed as the column B needs to be retained when the formula is replicated. So this formula that they have given, if it's replicated somewhere else and we want to keep the B13 just as it is, that's when we use $13. So even if I change everything, even if I change the value here, I want the dollar B13 to be constant, or at least the dollar B, not not dollar B13, in fact, just dollar B. So I want it to be in the column B. That's why I use dollar. That's why it says that the uh is needed when column B has to be retained when the formula is being replicated, right? Let's move on to the second one. It says, let me change color. It says he's saving to buy a new car that will cost at least 35,000. Khaled has entered a formula in cell B21 of the model sheet. The formula is this. Okay, so let's check B21 of model. So this is B21. So it says, can I afford a car? he needs more than 35,000 dollars if he wants to buy a car. So its savings has to be more than 35,000. So basically the formula here will be that if the value in the savings is greater than or equal to 35,000 dollars, then over here it will show Y. If it's less than this, then it will show N as it's showing. You can even see this in the other example. It's less than this, so N less N less N less N. But since this is more than this Y, it's more, so Y. So that's basically that we have to say. The formula automatically displays Y if the savings cell, which is B20, is greater than this value that they have given, or else it will just show N, right? And then we move on to the next part. So Khalid is planning to create an appropriate graph for a chart to be placed in a new sheet. The graph or a chart will display the percentage of income and the names of the expenditure items from the plan sheet. So it is showing the percentage of income, and the percentage of income is over here. So he will be showing these percentage of income, and then they said names of the expenditure items. Names of the expenditure items is over here. That means that he'll be showing these ones. So which tells me that in my graph, I'll only have this and I'll have this. This middle value will not be considered. So how do I create a graph? I select the plan sheet. So I have to select which sheet I'll be doing it. So I select my plan sheet. Then I highlight from A5 to A10. Then I click Control and I select this. Then basically if go to Insert, click Insert Chart, and then you select a pie chart. Now it's important you select a pie chart. Why? Because these are in percentages. And when you add these, okay, maybe you can't see. And when you add these, just a second. When you add these, you are supposed to get 100%. And this can easily be shown on a pie. So maybe this is 20%, this is 30%. So it's easier to use a pie chart. That's why you say select a pie chart. Now choose the style of the pie chart that you want. Now that is the basic thing. Now when you write in these ones, right? These are basically free marks. I won't lie. Okay. So whenever it's about a graph or a chart, just say add a title, add data labels, add a legend, add name for the sheet or title. Okay. So yeah, add, or because this sheet has a name, we can also say add name for a sheet, and then that's all. That should guarantee you more than 7 marks. Now most some of the other questions also have save. So once you say save this thing, then you get another mark. But for this specific question, this was not in the mark scheme, so this is not in the mark scheme. So yes, and that should be it for the first question. Now the second question too was pretty easy and related to what we have done. So a student is creating a database for a geography project to show all the earthquakes that occurred in 2019. She has produced part of the database which is shown. Okay, so we have the country, magnitude, and depth. Okay, so as they say, when she completed her database, she needed to carry out searches on the data. To search for the earthquake with a depth more than 20 kilometers, she needs to type in this. Then it says, write the search criteria to find all the earthquakes of a magnitude, so magnitude greater than or equal to 6.5 and the depth less than 15 kilometers. So I want to find magnitude which is greater than, so greater than or equal to, so I'll have, let me write it here. So I'll have magnitude which is greater than or equal to 6.5, and I'll have my depth that they say should be less than 15 kilometers. So I've written it here. So magnitude greater than or equal to 6.5, and depth is depth in kilometers. So you just write, because it says depth bracket kilometers, I just follow what is written there, and it should be less than 15. Now getting 5 marks for just one question like this is pretty good once you know what you have to do. Then they say give the name of the country that satisfies all the search criteria in part A. So let me search for it. Magnitude is greater than or equal to 6.5. So magnitude greater than or equal to 6.5. Okay, 6.5, I guess. Yes. Then they said depth is less than 15. The depth is less than 15. Now, which one is the common one? I can only see that it's these two that match together. So it will be Japan, and there we go. Japan is the answer. Then the student has transferred the data into a spreadsheet in order to create a graph. Okay. She has entered a formula in cell G3. Where is G3? The G3 is over here. The formula is count if A$3 to A$19, which is A3 to A19. So everything here. Okay. Then F3. So F3. So basically what is saying that count how many times the value in F3 repeats in this list that I've given. Okay. So the formula counts the number of times the value of F3, which is Vanuatu, appears in A3 to A19, which is the country list. Now, they also said include in your answer an explanation to use for the dollar sign, which we already discussed about. The dollar allows the range to remain static if it's being replicated. Okay, that gives you your 4 marks, and let's move. Now, again, the student is creating an appropriate graph or a chart. Okay, easy. Once you see graph or a chart, these are one of the easiest questions. Of the data cells of the data in cells F3 to G10. Okay, F3 to G10. So I know F3 is from here to G10. So all the data from here. So I need to create a chart only for this thing. I'll ignore the others. Okay. So how will I do it? I'll highlight the range that they have given. So from F2 to G10, I'll click insert and insert, and then I'll click insert chart. Then I'll select a bar chart this time, and then I'll select the type of bar chart that I want. Now, as I said, our free marks, add a title, add access label, add legend, and then this time save is there. So you can also add save to get free mark. Now, if you read the question carefully, it also said, just a second, you must include examples of an appropriate title and label. Now, we can go back to the main question over here, and they said that the student is creating a database for all earthquakes that occurred in 2019. So our table title can easily be earthquakes in 2019. Then X, so this is the X axis label and this is the Y axis label. So I can label the X over here. So countries, so I have country A here, country B, and then Y is the number of times the earthquakes occurred. So maybe 5, 4, 3, and then we'll have the bar chart. Okay, that's for that question. So let's move on to the third question. You're creating a presentation on the World Games. You have created a spreadsheet showing the number of gold, silver, and bronze medals awarded to different countries. You're planning to create a graph in the presentation showing the. Okay, so watch this. You're planning to create a graph in the presentation, not spreadsheet, okay? Showing the country. So I have to show the country, the number of gold medals, and the total number of medals. So now the only thing that I have to show is the country. Let me use a different. So I have to show the country, the gold, and the total. I'll just have to ignore the silver and bronze because they didn't ask me for it. They said, explain how you'll create a vertical bar chart showing the name of the country, the number of gold medals, and the total number of medals awarded to each. So now, because currently you're in the presentation and you want to switch to the spreadsheet in order to make the changes, so the first thing you do is you open your spreadsheet, you load the file, and you select B3. So you select from B3 to C13. So because this and this are together, I can just select it all together. Then I'll click Control and I'll select F3 to F13. So now I have selected from here. Let me just highlight it properly. I've selected here and here. Now I can easily create my table. So I'll go to insert and then bar chart. I'll select the type of bar chart that I want. I'll highlight the chart and copy the bar chart. Now I'll copy it. Why? Because I have to put it in my presentation. I don't have to leave it in the spreadsheet area. So then I'll open the presentation software, create a new slide, click on new slide, and then I'll paste the graph over there. Then eventually I'll save it. Now to add the save, you're getting 1 mark here. Now if you can't remember all this, and you know that one key main thing is that once you're creating a bar chart, you will add these free mark, this thing, add a label, legend, or title. But because this is 6 mark and it is specifically asking us for some things, adding this thing will not get us 4 marks. Oops. Will not. Oops. Just a second. Nope. Yeah. So this will not give us 4 marks, rather just 1 mark this time. Then they said, uh, the total number of medals have been calculated manually and entered as a value. This could lead to errors. Explain how you could create a formula. Now they have given you that you have to create a formula to calculate the total number of medals, which means that I am summing them all. Awarded for Italy, only using only the mouse. So I'll click on cell F4. Where's F4? Let me just erase this. So I'll click on F4 because they said I want it for Italy. Then I'll select formulas, and then I'll click on auto sum because this is the formula we use to do the sum. I'll click the correct range by dragging from C4 to E4. So from C4 to E4, this is the range that I want, so that it will sum and then put the value there in the total, or F4. And then I'll click this. I was actually surprised when I saw symbols like this in the mark scheme, because I haven't really seen that. But you click on this, or you can just say OK as well, which I think will get you the mark. Then they said, explain how the data could be sorted. Now you see, I see Cambridge has been very nice. They have told you what you have to do. They have given you what you, so they're saying that how the data could be sorted. This should just tell you that we are going to be using the sort, this thing, sort, sort, uh, sort function, or the sort function. To sort the total number of medals won by each country, the country with the highest number of medals should be at the top of the list. So you just basically select the range, so B3 to F13, click on data, click on sort, then select data has headers, because our data has headers, as you can see. Then you click on sort by column F, because you want to sort by the total number of medals that they have. So from the higher value to lower value. So it says sort from largest to smallest, and you click OK. Then let's move on to the last question. How long has this stream been? Let me see. Okay, 18 minutes. That's quite long. Okay, let's finish this first. A doctor measures the blood pressure of some of his patients regularly. The doctor takes home a blood pressure machine and records the result on a spreadsheet which the doctor has created. Part of the spreadsheet is shown. Okay. When a reading proceeds a severe or low warning, then the text automatically changes to a red font on a light blue. Okay. Now, as soon as you see that text is being formatted, that should click and tell you that, okay, in fact, they said, explain how the doctor could set up an automatic color change. This should make you click that. We are talking about conditional formatting here. Conditional formatting. Okay. Now, how we are going to do is that we'll highlight column D, because we want the thing to be highlighted only over here. We don't want anything else to be highlighted. So we'll select column D and we'll select conditional formatting. We'll click highlight cell rules, because we'll give a rule which it will highlight. We'll select equal to and then type in the box severe. So equals to severe, because they said it should either be severe or low. Okay, then I'll click on format and then I'll type in the rule. Select the condition. Uh, over here you should type this. I was too lazy to type this. So this is, you have to write select red font on a light red background as the condition and type it there. And then you repeat the same thing for low, because they said do it for, just a second, they said do it for severe or low. So if it's severe, then I have to do this, then this should happen. If it's low, then this should happen. So now I've already done this thing for severe. Now I'll repeat it for low. It says the doctor has set up a named range called blood pressure for the cell F3 to H7. So I'll change this to, so from F3 to H7 is our named range blood pressure. So F3 to H7. So this is our named range called blood pressure. Okay, now what are they asking? Explain why the doctor has used a name range for 3 marks. Now this is very easy. Name range allows you to write faster than to select the range. It's easier to enter the formula, easier to check for errors, easier to understand the formula, and reduces confusion. Then it says the formula we look up B3 blood pressure 3 has been entered into D3. So where is it being entered? Entered into D3. So D3. Okay, so it's entered over here. Uh, explain what the formula does. Okay, so B3. So it takes B3. Okay, and then so this is the name range that they give us, and the value that will be returned is from the third column. So we can just say that it looks up the value of B3 in the named range called blood pressure. It returns the corresponding value from the third group, okay, because it's 3 over here. This is the named range, and this is the cell value that we are going to be searching for. Now, this is the last question, and then we'll be done. Okay. The doctor has created a graph of the readings for one patient and has displayed it on the spreadsheet. However, there are elements missing. Okay, so there's elements missing. Explain how the doctor created the graph. Now, creating a graph, we all know how to do it. And does it write one extra improvement? So you're going to select from A2 to C9, and then just select it. And then click insert, click table, and then click chart. This should get this can get you 1 mark, 1 mark, 1 mark. By writing this, the maximum you can get is 2, because you have to add one more thing for the improvement. And one improvement could be that over here they have just said chart title. They haven't actually added a chart title. One more thing could be that there's no value displayed over here, so you don't need the date for 17th February or even 9th February. So you can add that. And yeah, that's all for this live. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you learned something new, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.